covering the community, the people, events, and issues of Georgia, Carolina. This is the Means Report. Now, from the studios of WJBF News Channel 6 in Television Park in downtown Augusta, here's Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Means Report. What a joy it is to be back with you. I hate, if I may say so myself, being preempted, and it is tough during this football season when sporting events arise and WJBF has its commitments. And the Means Report sometimes has to take a brief break, and that's what we've been subjected to the past 2 Sundays. So what a thrill it is to be back with you. Brand new edition of the Means Report, and an edition I hope that will help you not only feel better about your financial situation and the prospects going forward, but a chance for you to feel better about a contribution that you can make to help people all over the world. Those are our 2 topics today, and we're going to begin on the financial side. You know, we haven't been afraid in our years on the air to talk about financial topics and to encourage you to make the best decisions so that you can weather these storms that we're all facing, and today is no different. We're grateful to have with us Robert Osborne. He needs no introduction. He's extremely active in our community and has been for years and years. He's the Executive Vice President of Wealth Management at Georgia Bank and Trust. And Robert, I appreciate you being here today.
Good to be back with you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. We're talking about an economic forum that is coming up. And I know that Georgia Bank and Trust did this a couple of years ago. It was probably right at the beginning of the economic downturn or shortly thereafter. And I think, first of all, my question to you is, why are you all getting the best and brightest economic minds around together under one roof to talk finances, to talk about the economy? It kind of seems like so many people are running and hiding right now. What is making Georgia Bank and Trust put this out in the forefront and have this event?
Well, first of all, we've been asked by our clients to do it again. And we felt like that it was time to look at it and put together another group. We got great comments from the people that attended the 2008 conference, and the timing was perfect or imperfect depending on which way you look at it, but it was in August of 08 actually. But we partnered back then and have done so again with Augusta State University, the thought being that we're 2 local institutions. We've got resources that extend far beyond the CSRA, and we wanted to partner with Augusta State Hull School of Business again. And we have assembled a group of panelists and speakers that provide information not only on the local Augusta and CSRA economy, but all the way to people who are investing globally, and actually one firm now that's looking at bidding on assets from European banks.
You know, it's fascinating to have all of those people here, people who can really help us get a global perspective on our finances and on the economy and what perhaps to expect in the months and years ahead. What about the bank? What about you as a banker? What do you hope to gain as a businessman? What does perhaps Georgia Bank and Trust hope to gain for this community from this event?
I think the best thing that we're doing is providing information. I mean, if you look at our part of the business on the investment side, giving clients information, helping them plan, and giving them advice along the way is probably the best thing that we can do for them. And this is just another effort that we are making to provide it. And obviously we do it daily on a one-on-one situation with clients, but just assembling a group like this takes some time. I mean, to get them all in the same place at the same time. And we just feel like it also will differentiate us from our competition. Being able to put this group together and bring them to Augusta is not an easy undertaking, and we've done it.
Well, let's bring it home to the everyday viewer, the everyday person like me or like others who are watching, who check our financial situation by primarily logging on and looking at our 401k, and that's how we can feel how the economy is doing when we see how much we've gained or we've lost. What kind of struggles, though, take us behind the scenes with your customers, have you seen in the past couple of years? I mean, it really is affecting everybody, right?
It is, and I think probably just like you. I mean, it's the nerves. It's watching, like we did the first of last month in August, watching the market just fluctuate wildly and keep people calm. I was at a conference in Chicago when all of that was happening, and it was a financial conference, and I noticed one thing that was a lot different from the situation in 2008, and that is there was much more calm about it and more of a question about not why, where are we going, like you heard in '08, but why is this happening now?
I see.
Things are beginning to show a little bit of green, and so it wasn't. You didn't see the panic that you saw, I think, in '08, which was nice. And I think what we see with clients is trying to make them stay the course. And when you see some of them, quite frankly, we're not successful. They just, they want to get out.
They panicked.
They
yeah.
panicked, and they got out, and you saw a 50 or 60%, in '08, you saw a 50 to 60% drop in the Dow and the S&P. But then when you look at it today, you've had a 100% bounce. And the people that got out and went back to cash missed the bounce. I mean, just taking August as an example, the S&P was down as much as 15%, and it actually ended the month down 5%. So there was a 10% bounce within August.
No, and it's amazing because I remember a couple of weeks ago we saw a one-day drop near 500, 600. By the end of the week, though, those losses were all recouped. And so you're right, there's this initial panic, but if you can just wait, sometimes as little as a few days or weeks, things get back to normal.
And diversify.
All right, so you have these experts coming in, they give you their take on what's happening with our economy and what might be the best strategy going forward. And then they leave, and then you're back one-on-one with your customers, a lot of our viewers. How do you help them? What do you say to them at that point, and how are you better equipped, perhaps, to help them invest and strategize when it comes to their money?
I think being very simplistic, I mean, we provide information, we set out parameters of what they ought to be looking at, and then we listen. Because everybody's needs and goals are different, and they need to be the ones that are setting them, not us. We can help once we know what they want. We can help them get there.
Can you tell me more about these panelists, kind of their areas of expertise, or just kind of the things that you hope they bring to the table when they get here?
What we were trying to do is to set up where you were looking at the macro picture, and I got Bert White, who is with the chief investment strategist for LPL, which is our broker-dealer who we deal with on our investment business. He'll sort of set the stage on the overall economic outlook and looking at the sectors and what his prospects are, or think the prospects are within each sector. And then we've got a speaker from the Hartford who is going to talk about the bond market and what's going on the fixed income side. And then we've got, from a local standpoint, we've got a private equity firm out of Greenville, and they buy companies in the Southeast from $5 to $50 million. And so they bring very much of a local perspective. We've been dealing with them for quite some time, and they've been very successful. Then we've got a speaker from a company called FEG, which is Fund Evaluation Group out of Cincinnati, and they manage billions of dollars, and they are the company that I was talking about, looking at some of the assets in the European banks right now. They obviously do. They run the gamut across all of the investment sectors.
What can you do for people who aren't attending this forum and who aren't going to be in that room getting that firsthand advice and expertise? When people come to seek your counsel, seek your financial advice after this thing is over, will you be able to help them, and how?
Well, we've got as I say, this is going to be more general in nature. When people sit down with us one-on-one, it gets more specific to what your needs are. I mean, and what your age is. How long is it going to be until you retire? How many children do you have that you've got to educate and put through college? I mean, it's very specific when you start talking about investments for individuals.
Robert, what do you see day to day as far as perhaps a bit of a recovery from this economic downturn? When you look at your customers, when you look at the situation that GB&T encounters, are you seeing any improvement? I always try to wrap things up on a positive note if possible, but I know there are a lot of people struggling. Do you see hope ahead?
Yeah, we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, I think. It's, some people are doing obviously better than others. I think what we have seen in the economy overall, and maybe even some here in Augusta, is a skill set mismatch. That there are jobs available, but the people that are looking for jobs may not have the skills that they need for those jobs. And so, I encourage people that I talk to about that, there's so many training opportunities and educational institutions here in Augusta and across the river, that if they can't find something they're looking for with the skill set that they now have, maybe they need to look at training and train for something different.
Will you see people taking that advice even if they're older? People who you might not think, oh, I'm too old to go back to school. No, you can still go back and get that skill set. You see that happening?
Yeah, you're never too old to stop learning.
It's true. It's so true. Well, thank you for assembling these experts coming up later this month, and thank you for staying on top of a very important situation to a lot of people out there.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, pleasure is all mine. Anytime. Robert Osborne, Executive Vice President in the Wealth Management Department at Georgia Bank and Trust. We will keep you posted on that forum, but more importantly, we will keep you posted on the outcome of it, and in the months ahead, continue to seek out advice from Robert, his peers over at Georgia Bank and Trust, so that we can continue to keep you abreast of the latest in the world of finances. When we come back, how you can help people who need wheelchairs all over this world. It's very simple, and we'll tell you about a strong local effort to accomplish it as the Means Report continues.